FIFA's worst nightmare comes true as dark horses rise. For decades, the FIFA World Cup has been dominated by football's biggest names. Fans expected traditional powerhouses like Brazil, Germany, Argentina, France, and Spain to control the tournament. These teams had the history, the trophies, and the superstars. But every World Cup brings one question that keeps millions watching: what if an underdog changes everything? This time, that question became reality. As the tournament kicked off, few people paid attention to the so-called dark horse teams. Experts predicted they would struggle to survive the group stage. Many believed they were simply there to gain experience against football's elite. But football has always been a game where passion, teamwork, and belief can overcome reputation. Match after match, these underestimated nations began producing incredible performances. They defended with discipline, attacked without fear, and refused to be intimidated by famous opponents. Suddenly, the biggest teams found themselves under pressure. Stadiums filled with shocked fans as favorites dropped valuable points while underdogs celebrated historic victories. Social media exploded with reactions. Football analysts questioned whether the balance of world football was changing forever. Every upset made headlines around the globe. The tournament no longer followed the script everyone expected. For FIFA, this unexpected rise of dark horses created both excitement and uncertainty. The traditional giants, usually responsible for attracting massive audiences, were no longer guaranteed success. Instead, new heroes were capturing the world's attention with fearless football and unforgettable moments. The World Cup had transformed into a tournament where anything seemed possible. Every match carried the potential for another shocking upset, and fans realized they were witnessing one of the most unpredictable competitions in modern football history. But this was only the beginning. The biggest surprises, the most dramatic matches, and the moments that would leave the football world speechless were still waiting just around the corner. The group stage quickly became a nightmare for football's biggest giants. Every match day seemed to produce another unbelievable result. Teams that had entered the tournament with little expectation were now standing toe-to-toe with world champions. Confidence replaced fear, and every victory made the dark horses believe even more. One of the biggest reasons behind their success was teamwork. While many of the traditional powerhouses depended heavily on a few superstar players, the underdogs played as a united squad. Every player defended, attacked, and fought for every ball. Their chemistry often proved stronger than individual talent. Tactical discipline also played a huge role. Coaches spent months studying their opponents, preparing detailed game plans that frustrated the favorites. Fast counterattacks, organized defending, and relentless pressing exposed weaknesses that many elite teams had ignored for years. Fans around the world couldn't get enough. Stadiums erupted as each upset unfolded, while millions watching from home flooded social media with highlights, reactions, and predictions. Neutral supporters began cheering for these fearless teams, turning them into the tournament's biggest success stories. Meanwhile, pressure mounted on the football giants. Managers faced criticism after disappointing performances, while star players struggled to live up to enormous expectations. Every mistake was analyzed, and every defeat sparked debates about whether the traditional powers were losing their dominance. For FIFA, the tournament had become more unpredictable than ever. While the biggest nations usually carried the spotlight, this World Cup belonged to teams that had been overlooked before the opening whistle. They proved that passion, preparation, and belief could challenge even the strongest football empires. With the knockout stage approaching, the stakes became even higher. The dark horses had already shocked the world, but their greatest challenge was still ahead. Could they continue their incredible run, or would the football giants finally remind everyone why they had ruled the World Cup for generations? The answer would change the tournament forever. The knockout stage arrived, and with it came a completely different level of pressure. There were no second chances anymore. One mistake could end a nation's dream, while one unforgettable performance could create football history. Yet instead of showing fear, the dark horses played with even greater confidence. From the opening whistle, they attacked with courage and defended with incredible determination. Every tackle, every save, and every goal carried enormous importance. Their opponents, filled with world-class stars and years of tournament experience, suddenly looked uncomfortable against teams that refused to back down. Several matches went the distance. Extra time tested the players' stamina, while penalty shootouts pushed their mental strength to the limit. Millions of fans watched in suspense as goalkeepers became heroes and young players handled pressure beyond their years. Every victory added another chapter to an already unforgettable World Cup. The football world began asking the same question: was this the beginning of a new era? For years, the same handful of nations had dominated international football. Now, emerging teams were proving that smart tactics, strong team spirit, and fearless determination could compete with even the biggest football empires. Commentators praised the tactical brilliance of these underdog sides. Analysts highlighted their discipline, organization, and ability to adapt during difficult moments. Supporters from around the globe adopted these teams as their favorites, celebrating every upset as a victory for football itself. As the tournament moved closer to the semi-finals, the pressure on the remaining giants became overwhelming. Every match felt like a final, knowing another upset could end their campaign. The dark horses had already rewritten expectations, but they weren't satisfied with simply making history. Their dream had grown much bigger. Now they wanted the ultimate prize, a place in the World Cup final. If they could overcome one more football giant, FIFA's greatest nightmare would become a reality, and the entire world would witness one of the most remarkable underdog stories ever seen on football's biggest stage.